Hi, folks. This is Dedric Polite from Be Polite Incorporated. It's the first in a series of videos about real estate and investing in business ownership. The title of this video is How I Bought My First House at Age 25. I bought my first house in 2006, actually 2007. We're now here in 2016. At the time in 2006, the real estate market was booming. People were making millions of dollars investing in real estate. And myself, I grew up living in an apartment. My mom, raised by a single mom, we never owned a home. It was always a dream of ours. We were always just a little bit out of reach. So we rented our whole life. We lived in Section 8 housing. And, my single mom raised three sons by herself, never earning more than $40,000 a year. So when I graduated college in 2004, I made it one of my goals that I was going to be a homeowner. I was going to break that cycle. So I started researching, I started reading books, and again, at the time, 2004, 2005, 2006, the real estate market was booming. I mean, people in their 20s were out there selling mortgages, becoming real estate agents, becoming real estate investors, and making hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I started hearing the buzz about real estate. So I decided to, research some books and start talking to people, seeing how I can get into the real estate game. One of the first books I read was a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book has gone on to become a national bestseller, but I read this book in 2002 as a 21-year-old. And this book really just changed my entire relationship with money and finances. What I learned from the book was a concept of a need versus a want. Needs versus wants from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So, for example, a pair of Jordans. I'm not particularly a Jordan fan myself, but I know a lot of people are. If I wanted a pair of Jordans, I'd typically just go ahead and buy it, spend the $200 and buy it. But after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I learned that before any purchase, before I bought anything, I needed to sit down and honestly ask myself, do I need this or do I just want it? Chances are 9 times out of 10, what you want to buy is a want versus something that you need. Needs are things like food, shelter, transportation. Wants, typically, and, it's okay sometimes to treat yourself with a want, but I actually became a lot more financially responsible when I started asking myself, what is a need and what is a want? The book also talked about buying assets versus liabilities. So an asset is something that's going to put money into your pocket each month. A liability is something that's actually going to take money out of your pocket every month. So those two concepts really changed my relationship with money and finances, and it came from that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Excuse me. The second book that I read was called Buying Real Estate Without Cash or Credit. This was by Peter Conti and David Frankel. How to Buy Real Estate Without Cash or Credit. So this book, I read it in 2006, and I bought my first property in 2007. It really just blew my mind. It detailed how people, ordinary people without jobs or without great credit, were buying lots of real estate and lots of apartment houses. So I figured I could learn a little bit something from that book. So I read the book, I followed the steps in the book, and I actually did it. I ended up as a 25-year-old in 2007 closing for a $400,000 property. This was a 3-unit property. It was actually an investment property where I lived in one of the units and rent out the other 2 units. That rental income from the 2 other units actually helped pay most of my expenses. It paid the majority of my mortgage, some of my taxes and insurance. So I only had to come out of pocket a few $100 a month. So now I was investing in an asset. Also, I learned from this book that I was able to buy the property with zero money down. So my down payment out of pocket was $0, which most people don't even know you could do. And in fact, I actually got a check back at closing when I bought the property. In fact, the real estate attorney who I used, who's about 30 years older than me, he was amazed. First of all, he told me, you can't get money back at the closing. I told him, I read it in a book. Yes, you can. And I proceeded to push back, and actually at the closing, I got a check back for $1,200 when I bought my first house. I still own the home to this day. It's probably one of the best investments I've ever made. It's had its ups and downs. I have years where the property value went down for a few years during the recession. Now it's back up. But I just wanted to share with you guys how I, as a 25-year-old, I'm now 34, was able to purchase my first home, get cash back at closing, and start investing in my future. Now, don't get me wrong. It's good if you have a job and income that's going to help you qualify for financing, and also if you have good credit. I had those two things going for me. I had a job in corporate America where I was making $60,000 per year. I also had a good credit score of over 700. Those things will help, but there are ways, creative financing ways to do that. So again, my name is Dedric Polite. I wanted to share that with you guys. I welcome your questions and comments below on YouTube. Also, if you like this video, I appreciate a thumbs up on the video, and be on the lookout for more videos from me. Talk to you guys soon. See you later.